So this is the sketch, just to put something that's a bit of a test piece really, just to show how I got Fusion 360 to work with my little cheap Chinese CNC machine. So I just sketched out a rectangle, another rectangle inside that, just gave them some dimensions that would fit on my little CNC sort of test piece of wood, if you like. Extruded them down to yeah, I need to do a negative here to create my piece of stock. Then a cut out for the CNC to actually cut out. So just a small piece really, just to show the concept really. Rather than having straight edges, I just filleted these and gave them a small radius, 5mm, just to make it a bit easier on the tool and the machine itself. So that's the test piece. So now we go from the design into manufacture. So what we want to do is cut out that hole. First of all, we set up the CNC itself, just generic 3-axis CNC. Got the origin of the piece to be at the corner of the stock, which is where I like it, yeah, I'll leave all those settings as they are, and remove the stock offset. Now we open 2D pocket just to cut this pocket out. Select the bottom of the pocket to cut out. Of course, selecting a tool, and I've got one that I use, and it's a 3.17mm flat end mill. So as I say, we've got the geometry selected. These are the heights. I reduced the clearance height to 5mm, but you do whatever suits you and your machine, I suppose. You can either click on the tab itself, and then you've got an arrow where you can move it up and down. Yeah, so you can move the arrow or type in a value, which is what I do, 5mm, just because there's not a lot of headroom on my little machine. And there you can see the profile that it's selected. So this is basically plunging down and cutting it all out in one go. I'm going to edit this because I want multiple passes. I've only got a tiny little machine, so I click off the stop to leave, enter multiple passes and do it in 1mm segments. And there you can see the toolpath that's been generated, which is fine for me. Now the post-processing from Fusion to my little GRBL machine, I have to change some of the Gcode. So just wait for the post-processing files to load up. There you go. So I've got GRBL selected. On these settings, G28 Save for Tracks I have off. I'm not 100% sure what it does, but that seems to be the advice. It does me no harm, so that's what I do. I'll give the thing a name, test03, and Z10 just to say that I've changed the Gcode. And you'll see why in a second. And I click the box Open NC File in Editor. So when I click Run on that, it asks me to save the file. So I'll just save it wherever you want to. It's up to you. This is just on my desktop. And then what happens is the Gcode editor opens up, and this is where I make the changes. So the first change is this T1M6. It's an automatic tool change thing, and that doesn't seem to work with the Gcode sender that I use. So I delete that because it's a manual operation anyway. We've got these Z alterations and I delete them because I think they're in the wrong place. And then underneath G54 I type in G0Z10, hence the file name, and that raises the bit 10mm before it moves it across the workpiece. Before, it was just scraping across the workpiece and giving it no clearance at all. Or in my Gcode sender with that tool change thing, it wasn't running at all. It was waiting for an automatic tool change, which was never going to happen. So anyway, I save this, save as, and it's a text file at the moment, so you have to add .nc to the as the file extension in the file name. Click save. It'll overwrite the previous file, and that's the Gcode edited, and it's ready to go to the machine. So this is Gcode sender that I use. It's IntelliG-Code, which I like. It works for me. So you just connect the thing to the machine, whatever the COM port is that you're using. It's already plugged into the USB. Zero the Z height to the workpiece in the traditional fashion. Then zero everything out on the software. So now everything is at the point of origin and everything says 0, so that's fine. And then load up the file. Here you can see the preview of it on screen. It's not a very good preview, but it shows roughly where it is in relation to the point of origin, so you can get some ideas, and you can see the depth that it's going to go to. So it kind of looks where it's where it should be, so that's fine. And then press send, and then there you can see in the little picture, there's my little CNC milling away at the piece of wood. Just a couple of notes on that. The cheap Chinese one, the 3D printed holder for the motor isn't very strong, so I've just added like a strengthener, if you like, just an extra piece of plastic, which takes some of the pressure off the 3D printed part. I've also those little plastic clamps that I use, I've got them off Thingiverse. Sure, you can find plenty of versions of those. They seem to work for me. And you can see in the top left corner there's like a little cranking wheel. I've added one to the x-axis and the y-axis, just to make it easier to move the workpiece and sort of set it up correctly. So here you can see it milling away, doing its thing. This is speeded up a little bit, not too much. And I'll let you listen to a little bit of music and watch it do its thing. So there you can see it coming to the end of the operation. Goes back to the 0 point. That's me just loosening off the clamps and clean it up a little bit, and you can see the sort of what's produced. Just using a little craft knife there to get rid of the sort of burrs. It does leave a little bit of the sort of wispy bits, but they come off with a sharp knife easily enough. And then a little bit of sandpaper to clean it up. But the main purpose of this little video was just to show the Gcode edits that I have to do to get Fusion 360 to work with my little machine. Yours may be different, but this is what I do, and that's the end result. And thanks for watching.